Right-wingers who say shit like, I survived years of college leftist indoctrination and remain conservative, do not realize that this is the face of modern-day conservatism.
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump, I'm voting for Donald Trump. Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
Meanwhile, here are the faces of the nationalist left. The fact of the matter is that the leftism we know today is a right-wing ideology. Why? Because it fundamentally supports capitalist hegemony. It preserves the ruling class, and its attempts at social reform are aimed at suppressing, rather than realizing, the ends of the class struggle. It is a fundamentally conservative tendency. It wants to conserve what it likes about bourgeois society, rather than moving towards a complete overcoming of it. All of the anti-national tendencies we see in the West today come from capitalism. Mass immigration is the desire for cheap labor to exploit. The offshoring of jobs contributes to the maintenance of usurious capitalism at the expense of an industrial capitalism, which contains the economic bridge to socialism. Mass immigration also contributes to usurious capitalism as well, because of the need for speculators to swindle the population, a population that must expand with no regard for its national character, only its investment capital and labor power. This means lower birth rates and more imports of foreign adults who can work, save, and invest, and aren't as much of a liability to the state as couples having children. Cultural decline, degeneracy, LGBTQ+. This is an expression of commercial capitalism that wants to market products to a delirious public lacking common sense, with only an impulse to consume. However, the answer to these problems isn't across-the-board tariffs and replacing leftist indoctrination with conservative indoctrination. What you have to do is become a nation once again. To do this, you must make the problems of the nation the problems of the people, and the problems of the people the problems of the nation. By doing this, you establish that the nation's guarantor is socialism, and the path to that guarantee is revolution. The path of revolution isn't accomplished with wanton lone wolf violence, or clandestine conspiracies, or any of the motives that have characterized the praxis of the extreme right. Rather, the path to revolution is in the streets, in the workshop, in mass independent sovereign organizations, parties, and coalitions. Thus, the path to revolution is a revolutionary socialist vanguard of the nation, one that will achieve both political victory through means of politics and economic victory through mass strikes and agitation. Socialism won't be built in the West in one fell swoop. We do need to reindustrialize. This means for a time accepting parts of the capitalist world economy to capture foreign investment and build the productive forces. But this development can take on a socialist character. Preferential licensing for worker-owned firms, public and collective ownership of heavy industry, state control of the banks, and the formation of a people's bank, a syndicalist legislature, etc. In the past, industrial capitalism was thought of as the bridge to socialism. Now the socialist development is the only hope a productive industrial capitalism has for emerging once again in the West, at least for a short intermediate term. There's confusion as to what it means to be a patriot and a nationalist. To me, patriotism means loyalty to one's polity, one's state, one's government. Extreme patriotism means loyalty to all these things, even if they are in the right or in the wrong. Nationalism, on the other hand, to me means loyalty to the historical enterprise that is your nation. Extreme nationalism means hatred for your own state, your own government, your ruling class, because they betray this historical enterprise that is the nation, not hatred of other peoples, who really are stuck in the same boat. I'm sure those from the periphery and what is called the Global South would rather stay in their own nations and, if given the choice, would return if their conditions weren't so deplorable by the system of capitalist imperialism. Such to those on the dissident right, know that you can be a nationalist without hating other peoples, but you cannot be a nationalist while supporting capitalism. And to the patriots, confused or aware, I don't know about you, but I would rather be an extreme nationalist than an extreme patriot. As an extreme nationalist, I can say that I hate my own state. I hate my ruling class because I love my nation and do not wish it to die a slow death under capitalist hegemony and imperialism.